Mr. Gavaskar, good evening, sir. Great to have you back on the show here on NDTV. Now, you heard what MS Dhoni had to say, that this is a match we should have won. Who or what would you blame, sir, for this loss?
Well, it's difficult actually to blame an individual, but I think the way the South Africans kept at it, their body language was very good, even during that partnership between Rohit Sharma and Ajinkya Rahane. And later on, when Dhoni was trying to take the game away from them, their body language was very good. They seemed very, very positive, and I think that's such an important aspect. Perhaps the fact that that Kohli and Rohit Sharma partnership, that was a little quiet partnership, and I think maybe India lost a little bit of momentum over there. But that can happen when a partnership is broken, a big partnership is broken. Sometimes, you lose the momentum as a new batsman tries to come and settle down. So I think that's probably what happened. But more than the batting aspect, I think India's bowling was the big worry, because you concede the kind of runs. They conceded more than 100 runs in the last 10 overs. Now that is a huge worry.
Well, absolutely. We will, of course, talk about India's bowling also in detail in just a bit. But sticking now to the batting, Mr. Gavaskar, 22 needed of the last two overs with 5 wickets in hand. Now, going back in time, chokers is a term which has been associated with the South Africans. But would you say, ironically, perhaps Team India choked on this occasion?
Well, look, if you have a look at what the options were down the order, there wasn't really much of an option. India's batting really finishes at number 5 or 6, really number 6. After that, there's really no batting. There's inexperience. So there's inexperience in Binny. Ashwin was unfit. Bhuvneshwar Kumar hasn't quite batted the way we know he can. And so, yes, I think India's top 5, if they don't click, like we saw even in the T20 game where India was not even able to last 20 overs after the first five wickets were gone, I think that is going to be a problem that India will be facing, because India, unfortunately, doesn't quite have an all-rounder down the order, a batting all-rounder, who can hold an innings together in case there are early wickets.
Right, Mr. Gavaskar, how would you rate MS Dhoni's performance in this particular encounter? We all know that over the years, MSD has established himself really as one of the finest finishers in limited overs matches. Today, he came in ahead of Raina, scored a 30-ball 31. A lot of fingers being pointed at MS Dhoni at this time. Is that fair criticism for someone who's been a good finisher?
It's totally unfair, and this is understandable in the Indian situation. India always likes to find a scapegoat, and who better than the captain of the team? So I think that is what has happened. We have to actually have a look at the bowling. More than anything else, I think any team that has bowled so well for the first 30 overs and gives the kind of runs, 150 runs in the last 15 overs, more than 10 runs an over, I think that is something that you really need to look at, not point fingers at somebody who's brought glory to India for so many years.
But would you say, Mr. Gavaskar, that over the years and over the last couple of years, perhaps Dhoni's ability to finish games, that ability is not the same as it used to be earlier? Would you still rate MS Dhoni perhaps as India's #1 finisher in limited overs games?
I would definitely rate him as India's #1 finisher in limited overs cricket. Sure, as you get older, I think your powers, diminish just a little bit, but that happens to all of us in all our professions. It's not just in sport, but in all our professions. So I think pointing a finger at him is totally unfair.
Right. Also, in the middle of all of this, Mr. Gavaskar, we have to spare a thought for Rohit Sharma. Here's someone who scored a century in the first T20 versus South Africa. India lost that match. Here's someone who scored a century in the first ODI versus the Proteas, and India has gone on to lose that match. How highly would you rate Rohit's 100 in the Kanpur ODI?
Oh, it was a very, very good 100, because the circumstances were such that India's asking rate was always going to be high. There was no time to play yourself in. There was no time to play quiet overs. He had to keep the flow going, and that's exactly what he did. He kept the flow going. He played some exquisite shots, and some of the sixes that he hit, particularly that sweep of JP Dumini, was absolutely outstanding. Joy to behold. So he did his part. He scored half the runs that the Indian, 50% of the runs that the Indian team scored. So it just shows what a vital member of the Indian team he has become in limited overs cricket.
And it's very good to see Rohit in this kind of sparkling form, especially because he holds that very important position of opening the batting. What did you make of the batting order, Mr. Gavaskar? Are you okay with the fact that Rahane is coming in at number 3 and Virat at number 4 now?
I would still like to see Virat Kohli at number 3. I'd like to see Virat Kohli because he's got lots of runs at number 3. He scored a lot of his hundreds at number 3. Ajinkya Rahane can come in at number 4. And then, according to the situation, the batting order can shift between Raina and MS Dhoni at 5 and 6. But I think this is the batting order that I would like. Clearly now with Rahane also getting a half century, we'll continue to see Virat Kohli at number 4. And if you know, last year when he was not in form, we dropped him to number 4. Virat was dropped to number 4 where he got a half century against the West Indies in Delhi, and came back to form. So I think it's quite okay to drop somebody down the order, but I think Virat's position is at number 3.
Right, let's talk about the bowling now, Mr. Gavaskar. Would you say that the fast bowling in the Indian camp is their weakest link really? 86 runs given away in the last 6 overs. That despite the fact that the spinners actually did a very good job. Mishra did a good job. Ashwin didn't get to finish his quota of 10 overs.
You're absolutely right. And it's sad to see that, players who've been playing for quite a while still haven't developed the confidence of bowling the Yorker. I have absolutely no problems if the Yorker goes a little too full and it's hit for runs. But bowling, keeping on bowling the length ball and being clobbered into the stands, I think just tells you that you're not prepared to learn. If you're not prepared to learn, it's better that you go out of the team and let some other youngster come in. At least with the youngster, you can hope that he'll be able to learn and do a job for India.
The bowlers that we have in the squad, Mr. Gavaskar, be it, of course, for the ODIs or for Test cricket, are you happy with those fast bowlers? Do you think that perhaps the Indian management, the BCCI, everyone should perhaps draw up a limited year plan that in the next 5 years, perhaps we should look at producing an X number of very good fast bowlers, because that really continues to be a huge dearth in Indian cricket?
Yes, I think I would have had a look at Mohit Sharma, who does well. He bowls well in the limited overs, particularly in the death overs. He just bowls well. He mixes the slow, the back of the hand delivery. He's got a good Yorker. Bhuvi also has a good Yorker. And as I said, the occasional Yorker going a little too full, that is acceptable, because that's at least showing that the bowler is trying to bowl the ball under the batsman's bat. But yes, I think these are the 2 bowlers that I'd like to see in the Indian team.
All right, Mr. Gavaskar, we totally run out of time. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We look forward, of course, to joining you again after the second ODI between India and South Africa, where Team India hopefully will manage to bounce back in this 5-match series. Mr. Gavaskar, thank you so much for joining us, sir.